Welcome back friends. In the last video, we explored HTML links and learned how browser handles internal, external, relative and absolute URLs. Today we are shifting gears and entering one of the most practical parts of HTML, that is forms. So for that, I have already created a file with the name 03_forms.html. Before we build a full registration form, I want to show you something interesting about forms that many beginners never do. So let us jump right in. So you may be familiar with this page. This is the Google search page. The most important thing is not this Google logo or any buttons right there. The most important thing is this search bar where we type anything and it gives us the results. For example, I type this and hit enter, it gives us the result. So let us try to recreate this with a very few lines of code. For that, I am going to skip out the basic structure and let the browser handle it by the default. So I will type just the form tag, get the auto suggested code. Then I will type here https://google.com/search. And then here I will type input, give it a name that is Q. So what this name is, actually it is a query parameter, and we will learn more about query parameters in our JavaScript sessions. But here just note that this is the code what is required to build the form which is inside the Google search page. So now to open this, we will right click on this and copy the file path and open it inside our browser. So this is how our search page looks like. We have this form field and we can enter the text inside it. So I will type and hit the enter, and you can see our form is actually working, and here you can see it gives us all the results what we are searching for, especially our channel. I will start with this boilerplate code. And here I will paste the code which we already wrote, just in case if you want to refer to this code later on from GitHub. So now we are going to build our registration form which will help you to understand a lot of concepts about HTML forms. Type form, it is not going anywhere, so we will type hash. Before this form tag, we will type h1 and then registration form. The first input would be a username. Type input. Before writing these lines of code, remember that a form is not just for collecting data, a form is for collecting the correct data. So for those things, we would be giving them the proper names. For this one, we will have username, ID would be username. And this input should have a label, username. And then here we have to show some text that would be username. To make typing all of this simple, I have shown it in one of our past short videos that how to create custom snippets in VS Code, so that you will not have to type all of this again and again. Check out that short video and create your own snippets. If you are stuck anywhere, just let me know in the comments or message inside our Discord server, the link for which you will find in the description. If you wish, you can add few more attributes. For example, placeholder, username, so required. So this one will be for our username. And then we have the next one, email. The email input may look something similar. So I will just copy this and paste it right here. Then this would be email. Here it would be also email. So we have this for email, and here ID should match this for, and also the type we have email, name is also email. So that is for the email. The next thing is the password. And I will paste the same code here. Press Ctrl D or Command D few times in order to get these multiple cursors, and then type password. Here also password. These are the few types which you can use here, such as email, password and text. For example, type equal to search. Then after this one, we can have gender. And here, this is a radio button. Means you can select one of the options. For example, here I will choose a different style for this. I will not keep this for. Inside this, I will type the input. And this input is of type radio. And here the name would be gender. Then we may have value. Value is also one attribute for these. So we can have male. And this is useful when submitting the form. What value would be submitted. And then here we may type out male. And similarly, we create multiple of these. I selected one and then press Alt Shift down arrow, which copies all of these multiple timers. Here I will type female, and here also I will type female, and then other. The next form field we can have is interests. Why I am doing this kind of form fields is because we can learn how various kinds of form fields work. We will see the output of all of these as well. So okay, I will start the live server for this file. I will right click and start the live server, and let us see what we have for now. And you can see we have these form fields. I feel you already know what is missing. That is the line breaks here, and then here, then here. So now our registration form looks something like this. We have username, email, password, and then these radio buttons. Before these radio buttons, I will type a paragraph tag, and here I will type gender. And now we have gender, and then we can select one of these. If we click on these labels, it focuses on these input fields. Why is that happening? It is because these labels are connected to the corresponding inputs. So we have the interests, but we will not forget this. Inside the paragraph tag, interests, then we will have the similar pattern as we did for our radio buttons label. Inside these label, we are going to wrap our inputs. So we will have input, and the type would be checkbox, because we need to select more than one. Here we can select only one. Inside the gender, we should be able to select only one, but here inside the interests, we should be able to select multiple of these. And then we will have name, which will be interests. Value will be coding, the first one, and here we will type coding. And then we will have multiple of these, and here we will type design, then maybe gaming. So once we have these, let us check from our browser. We have these gender, which if I select male, I can only select male. If I select female, the male would be automatically deselected. So we can select only one of the options. But inside the interests, we can select coding as well as the design and gaming. So we can select the multiple options. The next thing we can see is the number field. It would be the age. It is number. So we will use a similar pattern as we did for the text fields. I am going to copy the first one, couple of breaks here, and then I will paste it right here. This would be age. We will keep this type as number. We do not need this required and placeholder, because here we are going to do something interesting, that is minimum and maximum. We can use minimum is what value we should have. We will keep the value as 10, because no person filling this form would be under the age of 10. And then we have maximum value, which can be maybe 100. So let us save this and see. We have got this number field. You can already see it looks very much different than what we have here. We have these arrow icons. I can click on them, and you can already see it does not let me go under 10. If I try to increase it, it will not increase, and even if I try to type something, it will not accept. Later on it will reject when we submit this form. After that, we have date of birth field. Actually, we do not need, if we ask a user for their age, we do not need to ask them for the date of birth. But here we are going to understand how a date of birth field would look like. So we will ask them date of birth as well. So for that, I will type date of birth here, and here we will paste out the same which we have. I will name it as DOB, and here this would be of type date. We do not need these placeholder and required things, and you can already see we have this date of birth. For example, we can select this date. Then we can have a look at another field, which would be the country field, and this would be select drop down. Here we will have the select tag, and inside the name we will have country, and then ID would be country. Then inside this selector, we need to use the option. For example, the first one would be the empty value. Here would be this select your country, and then we will have the options for the countries. For example, let us have India, Indonesia, USA, UK, and others. At the end of this, we will type a couple of breaks, save the file, and here we will see select your country, where we can select any of these countries, and then we can submit the form once we select the proper country. Then the next field we would have is file. Sometimes we want the users to upload their profile picture. For that, we will have the file field. We will use label, then this will be maybe profile picture. upload profile picture, and then here we will have input of type file. Here we do not want the users to upload any random files, any PDF or any video files. We only want to accept the image files, any kind of image file. It may be png, jpg, jpeg and others. And as you know, we use this name attribute, so we will use it here as well. And then at the end we will use a couple of breaks, and let us have a look at it. I think we need a break here as well. So this is what it looks like. So we can upload any file from our file explorer if we have any png file. So here I uploaded one. This is how it looks. So after that, we can have maybe any field which contains a lot of text, for example bio or maybe about, where user can type something about themselves. It can be a kind of a paragraph of text. For that we can use text area, and here we will name it as about. id would be about. Then we can also specify how many rows it will have. So for example 4, and then maybe we will have placeholder, and we will have a label for this as well. And here it would be about. Let us have a look how it looks like. Type break here and a couple of breaks here as well. So you can already see it looks very much nice, and also we can resize it. We can make it of any size by dragging it from its corner. So we can type something here. So this is how it looks like. We had a look at different type of fields. A username field, the email you have already seen in our previous sessions. I can type, for example, so like this way. By the way, this is not my email. And we can type anything in the password, and then we can choose gender, then we can select this, then age, then we can select the DOB, then we can select our country, and then we can choose any profile picture. Then we can type out this about section, and also we could have one submit button as well. For that we can type input type is submit, and maybe value could be do not submit. So make sure to practice each input type that we learned here in this session. That is how you will build a real confidence. And if you want to try something fun, modify this registration form and create your own version. Add more fields or rearrange the structure. Share your results in the comments or maybe tag me on LinkedIn. That would be even better. And that is it for this video. This is Qureshi Akil signing off. See you in the next one. Fi Amanillah.